All right.
Can I do this? Hi. Hi. This is Kim, Great White Owl. Welcome to Soapbox Sunday.
Soapbox Sunday.
Get on your soapbox. You do it.
Soapbox. Soapbox Sunday. Hey.
Hey,
Arr.
welcome. Welcome. This won't be long, so hang in there with us, all right? So, welcome to Soapbox Sunday. We are sitting in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and we have a restorative case that we want to bring to you and talk to you about. This past Tuesday, there's been a controversy going on in Alamogordo, and it has to do with the city manager position. The city manager of Alamogordo, is all cities who are run, is the most powerful person in city government. She's the one who makes day-to-day operational decisions. She manages the budgets. She oversees the board oversees her. Anyway, they've had the same woman as an acting city manager for 27 months. They've had numerous interviews throughout those 27 months, bringing in outsiders who don't know the city and trying to replace her. The community has been very upset with her. They've asked numerous times that they instate her in a permanent position. And it came down to that they did a vote 6 weeks ago that said, yes, let's enter a contract with her. We, the people, were so happy and thrilled. We thank the commissioners for making a sound decision, and we thought we were good to go. But come to find out, they delayed the contract negotiations to the point where the acting city manager had had enough. There is a CC or EEOC, equal opportunity complaint, an investigation that was going on. They were getting ready to award her anywhere between $1 million and $500,000 million for what the commissioners had done to her over those 27 months, which the contract, withholding that contract and negotiations was the final piece of it. And she went to them and said, I'll take $500,000 and I will go away if you give me that money. And they decided rather to show up and to be consistent with what they told the people that they were going to do. They decided in a 4-3 vote that they were going to give her a settlement of $500,000. When one commissioner was confronted about that, he said, what do I care? It's not my money. So that right there is telling me that things are just not right with the commission. So we're doing several things to let them know and put them on notice that we want them gone. And that's just, there's other things involved, but what do you do as a citizen? And that's the point of all this discussion. What do we do as citizens? Because it's not the first time, and it's happening probably in your city, anybody who sees this, county, city, federal government, state government. When you have really bad actors, what do you do? How do you get restorative justice?
How did that feel when the people were like, I really want her up there, and you guys finally got it? or the point in case where they really did vote her into that position. I think that's what's so mind-boggling is that the people spoke up. I remember being there for that meeting where you had spoken up for on her behalf, saying that she was qualified and giving all of the good reasons for why she really deserved that position. Not as if she wasn't already there for the last 27, 24 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel when you guys got the news that she
That they were going to enter contract with her?
yeah.
I felt like, oh my God, finally the people won. Finally, our voices were heard. And I felt that, that they really considered what the people wanted. But then the betrayal came because we know that it was just an all shell game. It was a shell game. They were delaying. They were saying, fine, we'll give the people what they want because we're always going to change it later. They knew that.
And I think to point out, you said that because the people, I guess in a sense, do you feel like they weren't paying attention after she had won that spot?
No, they were. They knew what they were going to do. And
I'm curious
people
if there was a way we could have like continued to show up even after she won.
But that was part of the plan because we had probably at least 4 meetings that we spoke in her behalf. There was a group of us um, that had spoken her behalf when that vote came that they were going to enter negotiations. All public comment stopped. I was the only person who was going to make public comment the following meeting. And I ended up walking out because public comments were put at the end of it. And what they had was this whole presentation about the golf course. And my heart broke during that presentation because what I saw was the love and care that has been put into the golf course. But it's not that money, $12 million has been put into the golf course when our infrastructure is falling apart.
$12 million
$12 million.
into a golf course.
But see, the thing is, there is the benefit of that because one, it's a public golf course, right? There's union jobs there. And the manager who took over the golf course after mismanagement, he's brought the desert alive. He's brought that piece of the desert back to life. Trees were dying because of our water. It was killing the trees out of the golf course. But he got the right piping, has treated the water, and is doing it right. So why my heart broke is if you can do it for the golf course, why don't you do it for the city? Invest in the city. That's who we voted. We voted in a mayor. She has a vision for the city. And with what's going on with the corruption of supposedly corruption of the commissioners, she can't get her job. And the stability of the city manager position, that stability is gone. Also, at the same time, the city attorney is leaving. So the 2 top positions in the city are leaving. We will be leaderless, but we aren't, because this is the opportunity for the people to rise up. to say enough is enough. I am not going to take this anymore. So what I'm saying, what I want, and I want to end this piece is, this is our 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence on July 4th. We, the people, need to have another declaration. We are tired of the corruption lining your pockets, making decisions, not understanding, not wanting to even understand or respond, hold yourself accountable to your votes. So what I'm asking is, there's groups of us that are having several different discussions about our next steps. And we want people to start being aware of who they're having to office and what they've done. And my belief is, people foo-foo government anymore, and that's why they're able to get away with what they are. But when you understand the decisions they make are very, very harmful to our city, and we're never going to be able to dig ourselves out of the hole if we allow this to happen.
Right. All it takes is our participation.
Yeah.
So when you say that it is our opportunity to rise up, what actions can we clearly state to be of the next move to ensure that, I guess what you guys are doing is what you said, a recall, right?
Mm-hmm. One of the strategies is to start a recall, which it's a long, complicated process. But again, it's gathering evidence, and they're going to keep doing what they do, and that's just going to add to the case for a recall. There's been a civil suit. There's also an AG investigation. There's also a request for public records, because they've been doing things not using the equipment that they should be using. Anyway, so that we can keep track of them. But I would say, in the meantime, if you see this video, you live in Alamogordo, write, call your commissioners and ask them why they did not hire the city manager, why they did not hire her and put her in a position, and why they feel that they can give $500,000 to her, which I do not begrudge her. She is owed that. But why would you not keep her in the position and start fixing our roads, start fixing our water that is undrinkable at this point in time? Why not take care of that?
I mean, it's killing the trees.
It's killing the trees.
It's crazy. And what is the name? Her name is Stephanie.
Oh, you want? Shall we do that?
Yeah,
Dr. Stephanie
Dr.
Hernandez.
Stephanie Hernandez.
Yeah.
Should we search up the phone numbers and maybe give the audience to the phone number? Give them the, yeah. I'll put that in there.
Okay.
We'll put it in a separate clip.
Okay, you'll put that in a separate clip. But yeah,
Yeah, I'll add it.
And make your voice heard right now. If anything,
Yo, showing up to those city hall meetings is like pretty interesting. Like, I remember that's one of the first things that I participated in living here, because for one, doing that back in Charleston, like, it was sort of hard because everything is so spaced out. But knowing that how close everything is in Alamogordo, and then having to understand what I've learned living in Charleston for the last 14 years is that what happens not like what happens systemically and how the land flows and operates has a huge role to play in your day in and day out. Your daily life is so affected by these things. So it's like, you come to a new place, how do you understand the way that it operates so that you can flow along with the environment? And so, like, learning that, like, the desert and how Mother Nature protects her plants, like, it seems vicious in the way that everything is so pointy and just so cutthroat. And then you come into needing to understand, well, how are things operating on a systemic level. um, and it's such a beautiful place here. You know, it's such a beautiful place here, and the relationships that you grow with people are also so rich in the way that they genuinely want to get to know the core of who you are. And so when you see that in the community, and then you see that who's running the city commission, you have this sort of debt that you would like to pay forth to the community itself, to ensure that, like, what they're doing, uh, because they're also in position to do a lot of things, that you want to be sure that it aligns with how the people also take care of their neighbors, of their environment. And so it's so sad. I mean, and it's inspiring at the same time. It's really cool that there's that opportunity to sort of, in a moment in time, give people a tangible way to create memories in which they can say, I stood up against this misalignment.
Oppression.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, but like,
just say the truth. Say the truth. They're men who think they have the authority to do what they want to do and not be held accountable to the people, you know, because that's the way it's been. But I see things. I talk about Alamogordo's at this tipping point. We could go either way. And I'm asking people to create that society, that civil society, where you have people in office who are ethical, virtuous, and have good character.
you know, I think it's worth the shot to really celebrate how far you've gotten, how far the community's gotten. I mean, Mayor Sharon McDonald being
Right,
the mayor,
right.
First
First black woman mayor. She's up there on a board of commissioners, the only woman. They got rid of the other women in government and high places. So, people, come on, at least for your daughters and your granddaughters, so that they have a world of equality. Stand up, rise up, you know. And every time the commissioners just sit there and stare at me and just look at me and don't respond to me, it speaks volumes, volumes to me. And it should speak volumes to you too.
Yo, there's actually some live videos that the commission posts on their YouTube. I think we should definitely rerun some of the shots of Kim's public comments, because whew, everything is spicy, especially with the way that the commissioners be looking at her after.
I'll tell you what, it's only going to get better. The more I find my voice, the better it's going to get. And my voice comes through you, right? And I want you to feel the empowerment of what it is to stand up and say, nah, that's not the world that I wanted anymore.
Yo, be the landlord of the whole town, man. Like, it is, stand up for the community, stand up for your community. You live here.
Yeah.
You know, we live here. We live here together. And like you said, the rewriting the democracy, like, or claiming back what was written, the power that was written in that, is such a cool time to be an opportunity for this.
It is. You know, I've lived and we talked about for 72 years. I've been protesting since I was 16 years old about Vietnam. I've been an activist all of my life, so I have a lot of experience. And it's like all that experience is now having young people learn from my experience, my learning from them about how they see the world and actions they want to take. It's just, it gives me chills. And that's the truth. It's just an exciting time. Like I said, we are at a tipping point, people, and we need to tip it, tip it, tip it, tip it. And I truly believe Alamogordo and your city, if you're watching this anyplace else, look what's happening.
Yo, you'll be surprised. I think the first city commissioner meeting I'd ever gone to, there was they had this engineer, the city engineer, to because they needed the commissioner's approval for
appointment. They had to appoint.
Yeah, but they needed the approval for how much money they would have to like spend on the projects that were gonna be like continuing on or whatever. And those projects were wild. Like they're talking about like building a bridge over a lake, like a concrete bridge over a lake. And like there was like 25 slides on that thing for a bunch of nuance like for me it's how is this going to help? What is pouring concrete in next to a lake gonna do to our environment? And where are the environmentalists in this scenario? Why aren't they present? I mean, in the amount of bandwidth and capacity, I'm like thinking, what does it take to be a city commissioner? Do I have to know about all these things before I pass them? Is it like does that have to be a part of my studies to sit
Yes,
in this
it's
chair?
called due diligence, discernment, due diligence, because that's why we want people of good character, virtue, who are willing to be accountable and responsible for the decisions that they make. And I want to back up. We can't keep looking to government. We are children of God on earth. What is our primary duty is to take care of Mother Earth. It is the only home we will ever know. And I'll tell you what, I love the desert. It's brought me to my becoming, my wholeness, and that's what I want the desert to give to everyone. That's why we need to get active. We need to take care of the desert. We have a dream of turning this desert back into the jungle. And I'll go back to the golf course. They turned it into a jungle out at the golf course. We can do it for the rest of the city and these hills. We can do that. Won't happen tomorrow, but cleaning house with city government, getting people in that have a vision, who care about us, who want that for us as a city, for a people, for Mother Earth. That's what this is about, you know. And I will live my life because my intention is to leave this world a better place for my grandchildren, their children, 7 generations out. So
what does a recall look like? What is the next steps to?
How about I'm going to meet next week with some people around that. How about we give that to you next week?
Okay.
And that will be enough for tonight.
Enough for tonight?
I think so. Is that cool? You guys cool with that?
That's a cool
Hey, what I want to ask you though, if you see this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make comments about what you think, where you're at, what you thought about this video, if it spoke to you or not. And then please subscribe, because the more people we get to subscribe, the more we'll get the word out there and we can just build and build and build.
Yo, and I got a question. We're rewriting the ethics. What does that look like for you? What does the ethics that you want to see in your city? Give a comment, because I would really like to know.
And next week, we'll talk about the military.
Well, again, I'm asking under the reasonable accommodations for my eyesight and also my reading ability that I be extended longer than 3 minutes. I also will submit a full statement of what I wanted to say, given the time constraints. I'll submit it afterwards. Good evening. My name is Kim Murillo, and I am present not out of habit, but profound commitment to the city. As I take a look above and I took the Pledge of Allegiance and I listened to the invocation and I look up and I see, in God I trust, we trust. I bring that energy here and I remind us that we live in a democracy, which is the fundamental principles that we truly are guided in our governance. I invoke the prayer of Ho'oponopono, that I say I forgive you tonight freely as a Christian. I offer to the commissioners who were met with the call to do the public's will, and you failed. The pattern reveals a profound lack of accountability, disrespect for citizens. My heart is saddened to witness commissioners playing the same old games at citizens' expense. Our city that I love feels oppressive, the direct opposite of a free society. We witnessed Democracy Alive last month with overwhelming support for Sheila, and I don't know how to pronounce your middle name, so Barron. And I hoped Commissioner Burnett's yes vote for her appointment was his consciousness and not the shell game to lead to Mr. Hernandez's appointment to commissioner. Commissioner Hernandez, I ask why you sought the position. I hope you reflect on the low public approval, your past concerns regarding perceived vengeance, tactics, the bowling alley decision, the questions about your own financial competency. If your agenda is not for the greater good, I ask you to step down. Your thick skin won't serve you. Citizens demand accountability and officials who listen. I support Dr. Hernandez for city manager. It remains unwavering. She is a strong, well-qualified woman whose proven leadership, detailed in her own responses, make her the top caliber leader for our city. I most heartily support her and her vision and her engaged leadership for our future. The threats to citizens and public services for speaking truth must stop. I also must raise concerns about the proposal of a $1 million police body and camera and dashboard cameras. Without fundamental changes to policies and general accountabilities, these cameras risk another tool for defection rather than true transparency. We need to address why charges are dropped and why cameras turn off at certain times. I beg of you in the name of God to stop this madness, to do the right thing. I thank you for listening to me this evening.